Don't give up on me. Don't give up on me. I haven't given up on you. Hi, guys. Thank you for your patience. I'm hoping you're hearing me now. At least four of you hearing me now. The rest of you gave up on me. Are you there? I can't hear you. Your comments were you couldn't see me. Then the comment was you couldn't hear me. Now the comment is I can't hear or see you. And so one of the things I'm hoping that happens is that we can both see and hear each other. But I'm going to go ahead and start because I'm thinking that you're getting a little frustrated. And one of the things I'd like for you to know is that I am doing this online orientation to share with the rest of the faculty. I chose to do it this way because I felt this would be best for my class. And part of the reason why I am doing it is to let you know, as I said earlier, what to expect from me and how I can expect from you. So I'm going to take us back to the beginning of class when you didn't know what it was I wanted. And I wish I could see your faces. Doggone it, I'd love to see your faces. In my background, you might hear my birds. And you may also hear my dogs. I put them outside. They're on the patio. But once in a while, they'll come to the patio door and they'll bark. So let's go over your study guide. And I know you were you were hoping that that wouldn't be the center of my conversation today, but it is. Your study guide, and I'm showing you the study guide, but you don't need to see it because you all have it. You have it on your lesson plans, and it'll be backwards looking to you as you look at it. But I am showing this to you for a reason because this is where your credits are coming from for your theory as well as your practical. So we'll have you go ahead and follow the syllabus that I gave you, follow right along with what I gave you in the syllabus. And because I can't see your faces and I can't hear your questions, I'm just going to continue on. You have your hours, copies of your hours. And if you don't have copies of all of them, don't worry about it. Just have a copy, keep copies of the time that you spend studying and just on a separate piece of paper, those hours, because I need to have those hours. You've handed those into class to me, as well as your calendars that you made for me. So I'm going to have you continue to do what we started in class. Also, use it kind of like a journal, journaling the time that you spend uh, for us adjusting to how we're having to finish our training for cosmetology now. I'd like for you to have, before you ever start your clock in time, the time you start studying has nothing to do with how many hours I'm going to give you for theory or how many hours I'm going to give you for practical. That's for my own purposes because I will be giving you the time because the time you put in will show. And I'll talk about that when I finish, how we're going to show the time you put in and how what I'm going to expect at the end of all of this. But let me stick to what I'd like for you to have. Your hours that you're going to do, your calendars that you're going to spend with your study, and your study guide. All right. So in your syllabus that I've given you, there was a lot of links on there. And those web links I want you to use. Concentrate on the web links, the ones that have to do with the state board. Uh, you can repeat it with me because we said it enough in class. Safety and sanitation for those web links. Also, go back over the ones that have the testing on there. Go back and review those again. But the state, what I'm wanting you to do is to continue with the state web links that are on the back of your syllabus. And let's see, what else are we doing besides safety and sanitation? There's also a couple that have to do with inspection. And of course, at the top of your list, you're going to have your State board rules and regulations. Now, this is how you're going to do state board rules and regulations. I chose the ones that I wanted you to use that we reviewed in class. I had you do all of the state board members. I had you do their title, their job descriptions, and who they were. And we talked about the governor in the state of California. So there's a lot of things we talked about in class that you remember, but to reinforce that, you have the time now to do it at your convenient time, and I'm not holding you accountable for it on any written exam. You just need to know the information as to the how to do I access what the state needs me to know. Safety and sanitation is part of our classes. That's part of our training, is part of our procedure. And then, of course, you need to know the written laws that the state governs us by. You're going to do all of that uh, and document that for me. The inspection. What does the state look for when they inspect the salon, when they inspect the school? Review all of that. But you don't have to put down anything that you think would impress me so that you can get credit for it. Put down what impresses you so that you can tell me what you learned from it, the things that you didn't know from our discussions in class and the amount of time you've spent studying. You can you can also talk about um, on your inspection what you're going to do with let's see, testing, sanitation, safety, roadways. I pretty much covered that, but understand, I am not testing you on that. Understand that. Please understand. You're not doing it to pass a test. So when you review something or when you see something that interests you, write it down. Hopefully we'll get a chance for you to talk back to me and we can go over it and review California state laws, rules, and regulations, safety and sanitation, California state testing, and any of that stuff you've written down that you'd like to know. I'm going to go back to the study guide. Let me go back to the study guide. On your table of contents for your study guide, and you know this is my first love. You know my first love for the study guide, and I'll tell you again why it's my first love for the Pivot Point study guide. That mind frame that's on the first page when you open up to your table of contents, that mind frame is what I would like for you to spend more time reviewing. As a matter of fact, because you're not going to be tested on the mind frame, go back, review it, read it for yourself, and study it. Now I'm going to show you the mind frame. And again, it may be a little bit backward to you as I show it to you on here. I hope you can see it the way it's written in your book, but this is just a showing of what I want you to do with the study guide. You're going to take the mind frame, everything on there that says how on the mind frame. Write a separate paper for each one of the mind frames, and there are 7 of them, on the how at the very bottom. Don't write all that information. I don't want to see all that information. As you put together a folder or a packet or anything for me that you need me to see that you invested the time that I'd like to see you invest, and also that you've watched this orientation because you know where I want to go with this. Put it all together in a folder, a packet, some kind of a binder so that you have everything together and I know what I'm looking for. Don't worry about putting tabs on it right now because I'll have you put the tabs on it later as it relates to the operations of the credits that you'll be getting. And this will cover all your credits. It's designed to cover all your credits. It's in your syllabus, and I will make sure you end up with all your operations. So have no fear. I'm not looking at faces, but I can almost tell that there's a question that's got to be answered from, let's say, could it be Marina? Could it be Rihanna? Could it be Jatasha or Pri? I'm not saying I see all of you. I'm just thinking about the faces that I can look at and see when they have a big question mark. And of course, Olivia and Leela, they don't have big question marks. They're just sitting up front so I can see them right away. But I do know there's going to be some questions coming from Cece and Bailey. So when you do the mind frame in the study guide and you note the why in your own words, don't copy it out of the book, then you know why you are investing time in your study guide. For me, not just for credit, not just for a grade. You've got to transfer all of the knowledge that we give you while you are training. What do I mean by knowledge? Okay, you're going to transfer all the knowledge that we give you while we're training you because you got to be able to do this in a salon, in whatever salon setting or environment that you're going to be working in. This orientation today allows us to continue in spite of what's happening in the world today. This orientation is telling you what I would like for you to do in spite of what's happening in the world today so that I can prepare you for your license. This is not just how many hours are I going to get or how many credits do I get. We put the hours and credits where we need them as they apply to what we're doing. But the study guide says to you, if I'm doing a skincare on a client, I'm doing a facial on a client, how do I know what questions I'm going to ask the client before I begin the services on the client? I already know the product, and the product has the procedure. I already know the state of California wants safety and sanitation. I already know that the state of California is going to test me on that. But I've got to transfer everything you've been teaching me, Ms. Fran. I've got to transfer it for that knowledge to actually hands-on client. And then, of course, I mentioned the magic word to you, which is always what motivated me. And that's how much money can I make from this? The more time I spent servicing clients, the happier the clients were. The benefits the clients received from getting service from me meant money that I could take care of myself and my family. And you know, I like to teach that way because that's basically how it happens. That's the chain of events that happen to you being a successful uh, cosmetologist in whatever area you choose to use and specialize in. I'm hoping you specialize in all of them because I'm a darn good teacher. But that's neither here nor there. I sure wish I heard your responses to that because I can't see your faces. And once in a while, I get a little laugh from you. But don't go into your exam prep. This is what students have a tendency to do because the exam prep has on there all the questions that are possible questions for the state board exam. Maybe it does and maybe it doesn't, but you feel like you've got to memorize the exam prep. You know which one the exam prep is, guys. It's that little book that has all the questions that you think are going to be on your state board exam, and you try to memorize the answers. Don't go into that. That's there for our purposes and making sure that we've covered all the information for you that you need to be successful. And of course, doing that, if we're doing our job as instructors, you will pass the state board exam. But I want you to get your exam prep book out. At the very beginning of your exam prep book, and that again, that's the little book, you're going to have a section in there that has your table of content. On that exam prep, which is your table of content, every subject area, for example, let's go into life skills, the microbiology section, infection control, first aid, anatomy. There are the breakdowns for that table of content in your exam prep for the books that we have ordered for you. The books that you'll be studying, the books that you'll be reading, and you already know that because you have your books in class and you bring them to class. Those of you that don't already have your books in class have your webcast, and you can access those books on your web book. So go into your web book, look for your chapters that are related to the study that you'll be doing, and take your web book and your study guide, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Now, I know you have questions, and it appears that I'm repeating myself, but I can't see you and I can't hear you. So what I'll have to do is go back into the tutorial and find out what it is I need to cover that I haven't covered for you already. make sure you have your name and your student number and the papers that you're turning in to me, the packet, folder, handbook, or whatever. I'm going to be meeting with the other staff, and we're not meeting together physically, we're having a phone conference like we had before. I did the sample YouTube for you so that I could prepare myself to go online. We do a phone conference and we are sharing with each other what works best for our class. And one of the things about the phone conference that we're doing that works best for our class is we're discussing those things that students may have concerns about. I'm hoping that I'm answering the questions that you have. I'm hoping that I can share with you what's happening with the requests that we need to have uh, and share with each other the student requests that we're going to be talking about for the cosmetology department. Now, this is my point for doing all of this. Hear me carefully. I suggested that we proctor your practical part of your exam. In proctoring the practical part of the exam, you're going to say to me, Miss Fran, how do you know I'm going to do what you have in the syllabus? How do you know that I'm doing all of this? Well, guess what? In order to proctor your test and pass it, you have to do it. Yes. And because you have to do the services on there, your question is, I need to see you do it. That's where you're going to continue to communicate with me on what works best for you. Had a little glitch when I set up your first um, live stream, and I had a little glitch on setting up this live stream because I could see that I lost some of you as I started to uh, begin my discussion with you. So I decided I'll just make this ongoing me talking, not listening to you, which, pretty much do that in class anyway. Yes, but this time I'll get to hear your questions. I'm trying to answer as many of the concerns that you have as possible on this stream, and you'll send your questions to me that you have that I can go over and make sure that I address everything on our phone conference with the staff that we have with each other. The differences with my class is you guys are hands-on clients with me. We've done a great job at the beginning of the semester with you having your hands-on clients and with you working with real live breathing bodies instead of mannequins, and I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of what we've shared together with each other with the help of Mr. Randy because he was absolutely great in the time that he spent with you one-on-one and sharing and teaching and the expectation that I had for him to help you in your learning. So it seems that it's coming together real good in spite of what's going on, and I'm feeling good about it. I don't want you anxious. I don't want you to feel defeated. I don't want you to feel like you're not going to make it through this program because you are. We're just at the beginning stages. We'll work out the bugs as we go. And as you can see, I'm starting to relax now because I kind of feel a little bit more comfortable than I was when we first started. I'm sitting back. I'm not sitting on top of my laptop right now. And I will address your concerns later. I could even tell my birds and my dogs are even more relaxed now because I don't hear them barking and chirping at me either. My thanks to Miss Marcia and my thanks to Dametta as well as the other instructors in our department because we are working very good together to give you the best education that we can. And we're putting a lot of time into preparing you for your final grade as well as getting your license. So, saying all of that, I hope you appreciate the time that's going into the Sac City College Cosmetology Department is up and rolling. And I don't want to say this too much, too often, because you're hearing it a lot from everyone, but we'll get through this. I love you. Bye bye.